Okay, let's get right to it. It's Saturday. It's Saturday morning. Not often that I do weekend videos, and when I am, that means that there's something happening in our atmosphere, and it's actually going to be fun to talk about. So what you're seeing right now is the visible satellite loop. I often will show this visible satellite loop, and what I want you to focus on is what's happening up here, up in North Dakota. Okay, we've got a real impressive storm system. It's pinwheeling right across the heart of North Dakota right now, and it's heading southeast. And it's going to go right along the I-94 corridor towards the Twin Cities Metro. And of course, with storm systems, usually you'll have some warm air coming up ahead of the storm system, and then usually you get cold air wrapping in behind a storm system, and that's exactly what's going on. In between, you usually have a front. And we do. We have a warm front located almost right on the I-94 corridor right now. And it's trying to surge north and east, and it's probably not going to move much further than where it is now. But anyway, where the sun is now shining, and you can see it here in southwestern and a good chunk of southern Minnesota, temperatures are starting to rapidly increase or rise. And in fact, temperatures, I'm waiting for the noon temperatures to come up here. That's going to happen in just a little bit, but we'll see temperatures in the 60s by noon and certainly this early afternoon in the I-90 corridor of southern Minnesota. And I wouldn't be surprised if some areas near Albert Lea, maybe even the Rochester area, approach or exceed 70 degrees by later this afternoon. Meanwhile, temperatures are up in the 30s and 40s over eastern North Dakota and northern Minnesota. So quite a interesting and fun storm system to follow today as it pinwheels southeast across the upper Midwest. All right, here's the radar now, and we also have the satellite imagery imposed on top of the radar or right underneath the radar. You can see a shield of rain and snow now from just north of the Twin Cities back northwest to the Grand Forks and East Grand Forks area within the northern Red River Valley, and then that continues northwest into north central North Dakota. This is actually some fairly significant snow up here in Devil's Lake, extending back west to Minot. Now that snow is heading east and southeast towards the Brainerd Lakes area, Duluth, and then northwestern Wisconsin. I think by the time it starts reaching central Minnesota, the temperatures will be just a little bit too warm to get much, if any, accumulation. But still, there will be flakes in the air as you go north of the Twin Cities Metro. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see some accumulation on the ground by tomorrow morning, especially in north central Wisconsin. As for the Twin Cities and areas south of the I-94 corridor, which would be right here on south, I'm not expecting any snow, or if there is snow, it would just be a little bit of snow mixed in with the rain as we get into later this afternoon and into this evening. All right, here is the future radar now from the NAM-NEST computer model guidance. You can clearly see where it is expecting some snow right across central Minnesota, the Brainerd Lakes area as we get into later this afternoon. Rain and maybe even a clap of thunder here in southern Minnesota later this afternoon and evening. And then everybody quickly, the atmosphere cools off quickly this evening and overnight, so that almost everybody in southern Minnesota may see a flake in the air as we go through the nighttime hours. But again, I'm not expecting any accumulations here in southern Minnesota from the I-94 corridor on south. And then tomorrow we're just left with a rather cold, temperatures 15 to 20 degrees below normal, fairly stiff northerly wind, but at least a little bit of sunshine hopefully tomorrow, but not the best of days tomorrow. Okay. Speaking of the temperatures, now this is interesting. This is a snapshot now from the NAM3K computer model guidance for temperatures right around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, take a look at this. Areas near Mankato, Owatonna, the Rochester area, I'm expecting temperatures, and the NAM computer model guidance is expecting temperatures well into the 60s. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if some areas reached the 70-degree mark late this afternoon as you go south of the Twin Cities Metro. And no doubt, you can see that there is a front stretch almost right across the Twin Cities Metro as temperatures quickly go from the mid to upper 60s, even as close as southern Dakota County, into the 40s as you get into Wright County. So a good 20 to 25 degree temperature difference across this front, which will be straddled right across the Twin Cities Metro. late this afternoon. So a real interesting scenario from a temperature standpoint. And of course, usually when you get temperature contrasts, you have a storm system, and that's the reason why we are expecting some precipitation by late this afternoon and evening across southern Minnesota. Now, those of you that are looking for warmth, hang in there. These are the temperatures in the lower layers of our atmosphere, and we're going to go through time here. We're going to go through the next 5 to 7 days. And I just want to show you what happens in our atmosphere as we go through time. Now, these are the temperatures in the lower layers of our atmosphere this weekend. Look how cold it is here over much of the country, in fact, but certainly here in Minnesota and Wisconsin. We're talking about temperatures well below average for this time of year. But as we get into next week, yes, the cold air does hang around through about midweek. This is Wednesday morning. You can see still some cool air hanging around in the lower layers of our atmosphere. But look at this push of warm air now starting to develop on Wednesday that is attempting to surge north. And it actually finally makes it north as we get into the latter portions of next week and into the weekend. In fact, as we're going to likely turn the corner by about Thursday or Friday of next week, and it looks like we're going to get into a much warmer weather pattern, certainly than what we've been experiencing. And in fact, we may experience temperatures above normal for what looks to be maybe much of the second half of May. So hang in there. Again, I'm expecting much warmer temperatures later next week and next weekend. And then that warmth is likely going to hang in over the upper Midwest as we go through the second half of May. At least that's the way it looks at this time. All right, thank you for joining me. And have fun watching the weather later this afternoon and evening because it is an interesting scenario. Take care, everyone.